Alrighty, guys. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode, the 19th episode of Coaster Hour. And with me, actually, I'll get to that in a little bit. But today I have another Coaster Time live stream, and how these live streams work is basically I go through a bunch of different segments, trivia, Q&A, news, discussions, and more. And you, the viewers, can participate in a lot of these segments, so that's great. We had a bit of a delay due to my AC issue. If you can hear the cooler on, I have to have it because I would literally be dying in here. It's a high of 111 today, and my AC is out, so that's going to be that for today. But with that said, I do have an awesome and highly requested guest with me today, Augie from Coaster Roaster. So since you are new, if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself, that would be awesome.
Yeah, can you hear me? Is it working?
Say it again. You were a little quiet.
Can you hear me? Like, is the mic working?
I can hear you. We'll see what the chat thinks, but you can
All right.
introduce yourself and then we'll see what and go from there.
Alright, so I'm Augie, aka Coaster Roaster. I have a small YouTube channel under the name Coaster Roaster, and I also have an Instagram that goes along with it. If I'm being honest, I'm like not the most interesting person, but my home park is Six Flags America, and my only personality traits are that I like Vekoma SLCs and I'm a Hershey Park fanboy. Also, this is like my first time being on like a live stream or anything, so I'm probably pretty awkward, but it should be fun.
Oh no, that's totally all right. We've had a few people who haven't been as familiar, so that's all right. I'm seeing in the chat that the volume they can hear you. You're just a little bit quiet. Is there any way you may be able to adjust it or no?
I'll try and figure it out.
Alrighty. So with that being said, while you're doing that, I'm gonna pull up the slides for the news because we're gonna go straight into that. And this week we had just a ton of news. So I'm gonna actually blaze through a few of these things, some of them. So if you wanna look in the description for some of these, like the articles, you totally can. They're in the description, like I said. So with that being said, we're going to go straight into the news. Our first bit of news is actually about Charles Din, a legendary figure just when it comes to coasters. He oversaw the creation of Beast and also created and founded the Din Corporation and was involved with a lot of wooden coaster projects specifically. He has passed away at 88 years old, lived a very long life as you can see. But he just passed away, I believe on July 6th was the day, so very unfortunate to hear about it, but I mean, he did live to be 88, so that's a pretty long time, and of course he had a very successful career, so that's Charles Din. And then the next thing we have is that this is an accident that occurred last Saturday at Adventureland in Iowa. There was an accident that happened that resulted in the passing of 11-year-old Michael Jaramillo. And this happened because the raft flipped over, another very tragic accident. And his older brother is in a medically induced coma, but is said to be improving. But that was very sad to hear about. And it's just crazy to hear all about like how all these accidents and incidents are just happening this year. It's just crazy, but very unfortunate for sure. Next, we're going to move on to the new ride openings. And we're going to start with Tidal Twist, the spinning Zamperla Wild Mouse or Twister Coaster at Columbus Zoo. That opened along with Orochi, the Vekoma Suspended Family Coaster, as well as Phoenix from Dino's Wonder Wheel also just opened. And then Fighter Jet at Fanta Wild, or actually the park I guess is called Fanta Park Glorious Orient, Ningbo. We actually aren't completely confirmed that it's opened, however the park is, so we can assume this one's open. This would be the second Vekoma Top Gun, not the first one that opened a few weeks ago, so that's pretty much that. And then we're going to go into ride reopenings. Harley Quinn Spinsanity at Six Flags America has reopened after the scary looking incident, it has reopened, so that's good to see. Matterhorn at Disneyland has also reopened. It has been closed because of a lengthy refurbishment, so it is back open. Shivering Timbers reopened after the train collision, and then also Black Widow at Kennywood has reopened. So a lot of rides there. Black Widow hasn't operated, I believe, since 2018, so that is why that is so significant. So yeah. Next, we're going to move on to Ride to Happiness. It has soft opened at Plopsaland de Pan in Belgium, so that is good to see. And Augie, just curious, any thoughts on, like, I guess, Ride to Happiness?
Yeah, I didn't actually like see a POV or anything of it until recently, but it looks like a lot better than Time Traveler, and Time Traveler is like really good. So I think it's like probably one of the best coasters in the world. Well, maybe not like one of the best, but probably top 25, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Your audio, I think it's a little louder, but it's starting to cut out. I don't know if that's something on my end. Chat, let me know. But
Yeah,
I
I
think
turned it up. I can turn it up more if you need.
I think maybe a little. It's like cutting out for me a little bit. Let's see what the chat is saying. Yeah, they're saying it's cutting out. So,
I'll try turning it down a little then.
yeah, turn it down a little bit because that you might have done it a little too much. So yeah, they'd rather have it be quieter than cut. So if it has to be quieter, that's totally fine. But yeah, all right.
Is this maybe a little bit better?
It's still cutting out on my end, and I assume for the viewers as well.
Try turning it down to where it was. Now is it still cutting out? Or...
It is, for some reason it still is. I don't know why that is. I'm trying to see if
I can try some.
All right. I'll go through some of the other things. People are saying it's not as big of a deal at this point.
Unplugging my earbuds.
Say that again.
I tried unplugging my earbuds. I don't know if that's the issue or something.
It's still cutting out quite a bit. Someone says if it's a plug and play, make sure it's fully plugged in. Try to unplug it and replug if you can. That's what someone mentioned.
I'm just using like the mic from my phone.
All right. You work on that. I'll just try to get through the just the news that I can, if that's all right with you. So we're gonna do that. Just to make sure, is my audio good? Guys in the chat, let me know. I think it should be, but we will see. Someone also suggested maybe disconnect and rejoin. But yeah, okay. So I'm gonna move on to the next thing then, and hopefully that'll get figured out. Vertigo has closed for good. This is the insane flat ride at Tivoli Gardens. Unfortunately, it has closed for good, which is unfortunate to see. Pretty surprising news. It closed for good on July 5th. So that was always the top bucket list ride for me. So very unfortunate to hear about this. Next, we have Tsunami, which has been sold for scrap. Basically, this is the end of the Schwarzkopf multi-looper. All hopes are pretty much done after this because it was sold to a company that normally scraps things. So that's pretty much the end of that. So that's unfortunate. And then along with that, Ocean Park in Hong Kong has decided that, or at least they have announced, that they will be closing Wild West Mine Train, which is one of the better looking mine trains in the entire world, has amazing views and an amazing location, but supposedly it is closing. And then along with that, so is their S&S drop towers, which also benefited from their location, and their log flume Raging River. They will be closing in August. Pretty surprising announcements, so we'll have to see. We don't know if any of these rides are going to get relocated at this point. We have no clue at this point. Tsunami has been sold for scrap. It's not getting relocated. If it's getting relocated, it's getting relocated to somewhere where it's going to get scrapped. So that's pretty much the end of it. In other news, Riddler Mindbender has tested. It was seen testing, I'd like to say yesterday, I believe. So that is good to see. And then Namazu at Volcania. This is a new Intamin family launch coaster in France. It is opening on July 10th tomorrow, or at least it is supposed to. We'll see what actually happens, but I assume it should open tomorrow. And then in terms of, let's see, in terms of park openings, we have Clementon Park, which has reopened after being, I guess, purchased by Gene Staples. That's always good to see. Doha Oasis Quest in Qatar, I probably totally butchered a lot of that, but it has soft opened along with their Premier Rides launch coaster, Epic Coaster or Epic Q Coaster. I don't know how exactly you say it, but that has also soft opened. So we finally got to see some POVs of that. And then the next thing we have is that Fanta Park Glorious Orient in Ningbo. I've heard conflicting reports on it. It is at least soft opened. I'm not sure if it is fully opened, but either way, in some way, shape, or form, it has opened. So that's the next thing we have. And then we have Fantasy Island, which will be renamed to Niagara Amusement Park. And the water park is also getting a rebrand. I think it's going to be called Splash World. And it was said in an article that they will be receiving a new coaster next year along with a few other new rides. So we'll have to kind of wait and see what that happens. So yeah. Augie, you're back in. You want to try again?
Yeah, is it working now or is it still cutting out?
It's cutting out a little bit, but it isn't as bad as it was before, I don't think. So we'll...
Okay, I don't really know what the issue is. Because it looks like all my stuff is fine.
Okay, I think it sounds a little better on my end. So we'll try to do it this way.
Okay.
Yeah, people are saying it's better, so we're just gonna try to do it this way. Next we have Latte's Magic Forest in South Korea. This is a new park going to South Korea. Looks really interesting, actually. Looks beautiful from the pictures. It is going to be delayed until 2022. Originally, it was supposed to open this year, but that is not happening. This will have a blue fire clone as one of their main coasters, along with a Mock Rides Power Splash. So that's that. And then King's Dominion is teasing something new. There were some mysterious crates that have appeared. If you looked on social media, some people have been posting about it. Like I said, I have a link to all the stuff I find in the description, so if you want to see what they look like, they're there. But they are teasing something new. Don't know if it's related to the free spin or something beyond, but we'll have to wait and see. And then Six Flags Fiesta Texas has announced that they will be doing their announcement for the 2022 attraction on July 28th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, I believe. I think that's the correct time. If I'm wrong on that, someone correct me on that, but I do have the link to that. I'm pretty sure it was 3 p.m. Eastern. The date is correct, no matter what. Next, we have Fun Spot Atlanta. They have shown some pictures of their new RMC iBox coaster and shown that it will have a dive loop. And we also have found out that this coaster will be a lot larger than most people expected. I don't believe we have stats on it yet, at least officially, but it looks very, very promising from the little bits we've seen. So can't wait to find out more about it. And then Intamin has begun teasing their upgraded Intamin Surf family. They even released a new trailer today. It is gonna be some form of an upgraded Surf Rider. I've even seen like what it actually is, what the leak was, which one of the models is just gonna be a Surf Rider with an airtime hill. So whenever that comes out, it comes out. There was another one too, I believe, but I don't remember exactly what it was like. But there will be a Surf Rider with an airtime hill. I do know that, but they are teasing this. We'll have to wait until we can learn more about it. Next, we have an announcement from Six Flags Great Adventure. They have announced Little Devil Coaster, which is a re-theme of their Kitty Coaster, just now to Little Devil, and it'll be their 14th coaster, and it should be opening. I don't know that they gave an opening date, but I assume they're gonna try to do it by this year. I'm not entirely sure on that though. Next we have new track was spotted in Universal Epic Universe's parking lot, and it is heavily rumored to be for the Yoshi attraction because it lines up with the track scene for it. So not too much there, but good to see some, at least some form of something happening over there. So that's good. This came out also recently. New yellow RMC Raptor track was spotted leaving the RMC facility. There's been differing claims of where the photo was taken. The guy who took it said that it was near the RMC facility, not near Magic Mountain, because it was being claimed that it was near Magic Mountain. It wasn't. I have the pictures linked in the description, as I said, but since I couldn't really get permission, I couldn't put it on here, but if you want to look at those, you can. Like I said, links in the description. And then also we have that the first Golden Horse LSM launch coaster is currently being built at Joypolis Gonjo. I don't know if I probably totally butchered that, but that is something that is happening. So that is, it's going to be the first one. So that's pretty interesting. And it's going to be indoors. So it is slated to open later this year. I don't know if it actually will. We'll have to wait and see on that. It seems like they still have a lot of work to go. Next, we have Storyville Gardens theme park. It has been proposed for Nashville, Tennessee. This is a new theme park. I believe it's going to be more geared toward children. And they would like to have construction start as early as mid-2022. Not sure if that'll actually happen, but that is a new park that has been proposed. We actually have two of them because there was also Jackalope Junction Story Park, which has been proposed for Williams, Arizona. This is a very small park, more geared towards children. They would like to open it by 2024, and it would be more of a roadside attraction because it's very close to, I think, one of the major interstates or something along those lines. So that's pretty much that. And then one of the more interesting things that came out, if you guys know, I live in Fresno, California, and recently we found out that there was a project listed on construction.com that was labeled Six Flags Over Fresno, and it was said that it was in pre-design. Other projects you could see on there was the Storyville Gardens. That was also on there. So this seems pretty legit. It does seem like Six Flags is at least interested in doing something in Fresno. Now, if it's the rumored Discovery Kingdom relocation, we don't really know. I kind of doubt it, but we'll have to wait and see on it. But apparently they are interested in doing something, so at least that seems to be legit. We'll have to wait and see what happens. And this is just in pre-design, so who even knows if this will actually come to fruition. So we'll see. And yes, it literally was called Six Flags Over Fresno, so that's even more funny, just because I literally joked about that name. But yeah. Next, we have that the 2023 Europa Park Coaster seems to have been revealed, at least that it is planned to be a mock Big Dipper with a launch. This was found out because they have to kind of get permission from, and they have to like do things with the neighbors around them. They have to do this whole thing over there. But it was found out that it is, at least right now, planned to be a mock Big Dipper with a launch. They're still getting some things figured out in terms of permissions and whatnot, but that is the plan for now. Next, we have a series of incidents that happened. The back car of El Toro derailed and the train ended up valleying. This happened, I think, over a week ago at this point. Pretty crazy incident. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but I have to imagine El Toro is going to be down for quite a while. And then Skyrush also had an incident that resulted in the evacuation of riders from the lift hill. It doesn't seem like that the chain snapped, or the cable lift or the cable, I should say. It doesn't seem that it snapped. There was no confirmation of that, so we don't really know exactly what happened still, but there was an incident that resulted in the evacuations of riders from the lift hill. And then yesterday, another scary looking incident happened on a fair ride at the National Cherry Festival in Michigan. At least it was yesterday or maybe the day before. This is the kind of ride it was. This isn't the exact one. What basically happened was the ride was tilting, the platform was tilting, so a bunch of people not riding actually stood on the platform to keep it from tilting. There were no injuries that have been reported up to this point, but it was pretty crazy just seeing that thing happen on video. And then also a storm forced Six Flags New England to close on June 30th and July 1st, but they did reopen, I believe, on July 2nd, so it's not really affecting them now. And then a rabid fox attacked 2 guests and was captured at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, in Virginia. So that's which is pretty crazy. Fortunately, the son and father are said to be fine. The son was believed to have gotten bitten, but I believe he got the injections already, so he's good. Yeah, just a bizarre story. And then our last few bits of news: SeaWorld Orlando won USA Today's Best Amusement Park, and Mako won USA Today's Best Coaster. I have to imagine SeaWorld just had a bunch of, and I heard about this, they had a bunch of like QR codes and stuff telling them to vote for them in their parks. It seems to have worked. That's all I can say, but still congratulations regardless. And then also a car for Big Bad Wolf is being auctioned off on eBay. All the proceedings will be going to a charity known as Give Kids the World. The last time I checked, the bid was at well over $2,000. I'd have to imagine it's well above that now. And then for channel announcements, me and Jace from 808 Coaster Life are going to be doing Guess the Coaster live tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So we're going to be doing that on the Discord, on the Coaster Hour Discord. Link to that is in the description. And actually, I'm not going to go into that right now because that was already a lot of news. So I'll just end it there. So that's pretty much that. I know we were having some issues, but if you have any thoughts on just any of those things in general, you can just, I guess, say them right now because I went through that pretty quick.
Yeah, there's been like so much news recently as of late. Like I can't even keep up with it all. I feel like I forget all the stuff from like the past day because there's just so much stuff coming through.
Yeah, it's crazy. The Airtime Thrills Discord server is a huge help with getting all the news and like getting it for this stuff. But I am also a reporter on there, so
Yeah, there's
yeah.
like at least 10 new articles and stuff on there every single day. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But that's basically all the news. We're gonna head into our first Q&A, which will actually be leading into the quiz. Get on the quiz right now for myquiz.org. Actually, I think I need to get that set up, so hold that thought because I actually don't think I have it ready for people to come into yet. So, but you guys can start asking your questions. This will be our first Q&A, and then in a little bit, we will start the quiz. So that's going to be the plan for now.
Do you think it might be okay if I try getting on the stream on my laptop instead and see if the mic's better there? Because I know it's still cutting out.
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. You can try that. Alrighty.
Because I can use my better mic on there too. My camera won't be as good though.
That's fine. The audio is more important than the camera. We've literally had a guest who wasn't on camera at all, so that's totally fine. So yeah, but you're gonna be heading out for a bit. Is that what's gonna happen? So that works out. Okay. Yeah. All right. We'll do that then. I'll take over temporarily for now then. So yeah, we'll figure out the audio in a little bit. We can still you guys can still start asking questions. I'll be answering them for now, and then once Augie comes back, we'll be I'll let we'll also answer some questions. So probably a little bit of an extended Q&A here, just because. So, yeah. So let's see. Is the quiz working? I've seen like there's not too many people going in, so I'm hoping it does. I have the link pinned in the chat, at least I believe I do, so that should be how you guys get on. Hopefully that works out. Most coaster rides in one day. This, depending on who you ask, is probably either a small or a large number, but I believe my record is 25, which was at Cedar Point. Just in total, not on one specific coaster. I did that with Fastlane Plus. I will probably get to the point where there's a day where I just marathon something and that'll take the record, but that hasn't happened yet because I live in California and there's not a ton of parks that are dead here, so, or at least that have like an elite coaster, so I don't know if how long it's gonna take for me to break that record, but yeah. So let's see. Have I had a chance to visit Hershey Park this year? No. I've stayed in California up to this point. I probably won't be going to any out-of-state parks this year, just because I've just heard at a lot of these places the experience isn't quite as good. I do plan on going to some, or at least I'm hoping to go to some next year, but this year, just California stuff. Although I did just do West Coaster in between these two streams. At Santa Monica Pier. I've been trying to get to do that one for a while, so yeah. Is Intimidator 305 the best? I haven't ridden it, and I have absolutely no clue. Hard to judge that ride, really. So, yeah. Number one bucket list park in Europe, in North America, and Asia. Number one in Europe, I'm gonna go with... there's really three options you could go with, but I'm going to go with Europa Park. North America, shoot. I don't, Silver Dollar City probably. And then Asia, Tokyo Disney Sea. That one's pretty easy. So yeah. Alright, we're going to try this again. For some reason it's coming out black. I don't know why the screen's doing that. So let me try. Augie. Oh, great. Alright, we're still trying to figure that one out. Keep asking more questions while we're trying to get through some technical difficulties. If this goes too long, I'll just start the quiz and we'll do that. And then we'll have a longer Q&A session during one of the other ones. So that's going to be how that's going to work. So, yeah. Let's see. Right now, you're recording your Zip and Pippin review and you're not sure... what you should edit with. So do I have any recommendations? I use DaVinci Resolve. I mean, I don't do too many like actual videos at this like as of right now, but that's a pretty good one. 808 Coaster Life also uses it, so it's a good program. That would be a good one, although it is a little bit complicated, but I think you can still make a decent video if you don't know everything. So that's one I would recommend. So yeah. Alright, we're gonna try this again. Or yeah, this way. Alright. Let's see. I guess just talk and see how the audio is. I guess we'll figure it out that way. Or maybe I'll bring up a question.
Yeah. So I tried my computer and that's not gonna work. So I don't know. I'll just have to see if it's still lagging and stuff.
Okay. Alright, so then we have a question. Actually, there's one earlier. It was very specifically for you, so I need to get to it. And I lost it. Badger State Coaster asks, why do you like Cars 2 so much?
I don't know, it's just like a movie, like, it was my favorite movie when I was little, and I just watched it so much that it's kind of like just special to me, if that makes sense. And I don't know, I still think it's a good movie. I know other people don't, but I really enjoy it.
That's fair. I've made it known, I think at this point, I'm not the biggest fan of the movie, but Yeah, it's growing on me slightly, but like I'm still not the biggest fan of it. I never cared for it when I was like younger, so it's probably a movie that if you grow up with it, probably works out better.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I saw it in theaters when I was like 6, I think. So
I did see it in theaters as well because I was a big fan of the first one, and I didn't really care for the second one, so that was my experience with it. Next question. Have you ever gotten sick on a coaster? Recurring question.
um, I mean, I have like gotten where I didn't feel great. That happened to me on Joker at Great Adventure, because just all the spinning and stuff. So I was feeling like terrible at the final break run, but I'd never like thrown up or anything. If that makes sense.
Well, that's good. At least you haven't gotten to that, like, gotten to the point where you're literally throwing up, so that's good. Let's see. Some people are saying they're still lagging. Someone says they can't understand anything you're saying. On my end, it does a little bit of a thing, but I can still hear you, so that's, I don't know what to do at this point for that. So,
I don't really know.
and you said your laptop, like, straight up wouldn't do it at all? Like, or was it a camera issue?
Yeah, my laptop is terrible. Like I tried getting on it and no, it's just like so laggy and stuff.
Okay. Um, now I'm hearing, now it's a little bit conflicting because some people are saying they do understand what you're saying. Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, no, you're fine. Yeah, people are saying they can understand, so we're good.
Alright.
That's good.
Okay.
Most anticipated element on I-305. I think I will have to go with the first turn just because like that's like the like legendary moment of that ride. So I think I will have to go with the first turn on I-305.
Well, I know like the first turn is probably the best element on the ride, but I'm actually looking more forward to the camelback that goes after that because I hear some people say it has like no airtime and some people say it has great airtime, so I'm like interested to see for myself.
Yeah, I could see that just because it's like, how good is it actually? Just because there's like so many conflicting things on it. So I can see that. Oh God, Chicken Little over Cars 2. Definitely not. Even like Chicken Little is one of my least favorite Disney movies. I don't I would not agree with that. Um,
Wait,
let's.
so it says when I'm in settings that if you're having mic issues, try restarting your device. So I think I should just do that, and then it might be alright.
All right, we'll try doing that then. I'll start the quiz if that's fine with you, just so that way,
Okay.
because the Q&A, some people are trying to ask you questions, so I feel bad for like doing it. So we're gonna start the quiz. I'm gonna start the quiz right now, and that's going to be that. So hopefully we're able to figure this stuff out with the technical side of things. So yeah, we're gonna start the quiz. Make sure to get in if you haven't already. I'm gonna get it up just and give like about, we'll say 30 more seconds, and then we will be ready to go. So I'll give like 30 more seconds for people to join, and then we'll go into the quiz. So yeah, and I guess I'll see if there's any other questions I can answer just before I get into this, because why not? Let's see. Lil Phantom or Vapor Trail? Lil Phantom. I'm gonna try to get the Lil Phantom clone in my home city this summer, hopefully. I'll have to email them to see if I'm able to do it, but I'm gonna actually try to do that. I might email them right after the stream, actually, so we'll see. But yeah. I think we're gonna start now. Alright, so yes, we're gonna start it. Alright, so the first question is, what year was RCDB, the roller coaster database, established? Probably one of the more difficult questions, to be completely honest, on here. Although I did make this quiz a good while back, so I'm not entirely sure. I don't really remember everything there is to it, but we'll have to see. but I do know the answer. The correct answer is 1996. It was established and created in 1996. And by the way, no using RCDB or anything for this. So, yeah. Next question. Colossus at Six Flags Magic Mountain was manufactured by which company? Was it Opus Group, Intamin, National Amusement Device Company, or International Amusement Devices? And the correct answer is International Amusement Devices. National Amusement Device Company was actually the predecessor. So I guess that would make the question difficult, but International Devices was the correct answer. Next question is, which of these roller coasters has not been relocated at some point? And no, the one in the picture is not a choosable answer, basically. And the correct answer is Scorpion at Busch Gardens, Tampa. Canopy Corkscrew actually was at a park called Old Chicago, and was relocated from there. Might have even relocated twice, but it's at least, I'm not sure about that one, but I know it's relocated once. Next question, which coaster is faster? Giant Dipper at Santa Cruz or Mind Eraser, the SLC at Six Flags America? And Finn McMissile is in first place, so that's good to see. The correct answer is Giant Dipper at Santa Cruz. It travels at a top speed of 55 miles per hour compared to Mind Eraser's 49.7 miles per hour. So, yeah. And the next question is, which coaster is faster? Mako at SeaWorld Orlando or Steel Force at Dorney Park? And the correct answer is Steel Force at Dorney Park, which reaches a top speed of 75 miles per hour compared to Mako's 73 miles per hour. So that's the correct answer there. Next question is, what year did Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland, California open? I actually should check something real quick. Okay. All right. Correct answer for this is 1995. March 4th of 1995 is the correct answer.
I tried restarting. I don't know if it's still lagging or anything.
It still is, but like it's like at least right there it was still better, but
Okay.
yeah. Next question is, Wood Express is at which park? And the correct answer to this is Parc Saint Paul in France. So yeah, that is correct. Next question is, what country is the premier launch coaster Deep Space in? This is one of their more obscure coasters, I would say. So, although it is actually very similar to Epic Coaster, which just opened at another park. So, at Doha Oasis Quest. Correct answer is India. It's actually located at Imagica in India, which also has a B&M Floorless. So named, I forget if it's, I think it's just, is it Nitro or is it Hot Wheels Nitro? Don't remember, but one of those names, I believe. Next question is, what was Goliath at Six Flags Fiesta Texas originally named? And this would have been from the original park it was at too. And the correct answer is Gambit, because it actually originated from Thrill Valley in Japan. Batman the Ride was actually what it was called at Six Flags New Orleans. So it's been relocated twice, which is pretty crazy. Next question is, what was the original name of Waldemere as an amusement park? Yeah. And the correct answer is Waldemere. Yep, it's always been named Waldemere, so I just used that as a trick question. Yep, it's been that way since 1896. Next question is, Six Flags America has how many operating coasters? Is it 8, 7, 10, or 9 coasters? Augie, I'm sure you know this one.
Yeah, well, according to them, well, I won't say yet because I'll wait.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, yes. Six Flags, that's a different idea.
According to them, it's 10, but
Yeah. because they're counting the super loop, I assume.
Yeah. So I guess also according to them, their coaster drought is only 6 years instead of 20.
Yikes. Next question is, Nemesis at Alton Towers has how many inversions? And the correct answer is 4 inversions. Has a corkscrew, actually 2 corkscrews, a 0G roll, and a vertical loop, or just a loop, I guess. Next question is, what is the top speed of Velocicoaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure? I think this is the first time I've had a Velocicoaster question on here. Probably will be the last, but unless it shows, actually, we'll see, but I think it probably will be.
There's so many things you could ask about that ride. It's so complicated.
True. The correct answer is 70 miles per hour. 72.7, I believe, is actually Tehran's. I use the other Intamin coasters' top speed, like the other LSM launch coasters, for the other answers. How tall is Steel Curtain at Kennywood? And the correct answer is 220 feet tall. That is the correct answer. The 197 is the height of the inversion, so but no one got that, so that's good. And the correct the last question we have is, which park doesn't have a coaster named Goliath? Is it La Ronde, Fiesta Texas, Darien Lake, or Wallaby Holland? Which one does not have a coaster named Goliath? And the correct answer is Six Flags Darien Lake. They do not have a coaster named Goliath currently. Wallaby Holland, Fiesta Texas, and La Ronde all do. In first place, I-305 number 1, which I assume is Millie Man, so congratulations on that. Mr. Color Roaster came in second.
I think that Millie Man said that I-305 is his new number 1, so it must be him.
Okay, yeah, he just said it is his, that he won, so it is his number 1. Good to know. Second is Mr. Color Roaster with 81 points, and third place was Finn McMissile with 72 points, which was Badger State Coasters, so that's good to see. And that'll pretty much bring us to the end of the quiz. And next we're going to go on to the YouTube shoutouts. So that's going to be our next segment. And our first channel I'm going to shout out is Coast Tunes, who recently reached 10,000 subscribers and has been, of course, a former guest on the show. I mean, his channel, his content is like some of the more entertaining coaster content out there. So he's got really good stuff. Make sure to check him out. Really interesting videos and different stuff from other coaster channels. So great stuff there. And like I said, a previous guest on the stream. Next, we have Theme Park ERT has recently reached 1,000 subscribers. Has quickly become actually one of the better channels when it comes to Magic Mountain construction updates. But of course, when they do their show, that is also great. Hoping to see more episodes sometime soon. It would be nice to see that because I do enjoy their show. They recently reached 1,000 subscribers. And then Canopy Coaster has reached 6,000 subs. His channel, I have said this before, has the best coaster and park reviews. I stand by that still. He's ridden over 1,000 coasters, so he's got a lot of great experience, and he's got a lot of great content. Also, another previous guest of Coaster Time. So, yeah, congrats to Mike.
He uploads so many videos. Like usually it's at least one video a day, and sometimes he even uploads like 2 or 3. It's crazy.
Yeah, he said that, I believe he did say at some point that it's gonna slow down just because he had a lot of time. He had a lot of time during specifically like the pandemic, but he's still gonna be uploading quite a bit. So it's crazy how much he's able to pump out, like very consistent as well. So gotta respect that.
He said he wrote a lot of scripts, so he just has a lot of those on hand. Like during the pandemic, he wrote a lot of them.
Yeah, that also. So yeah, once again, great channel. Definitely make sure to check him out if you haven't already. All these channels are also in the description if you don't want to check them out in the chat. And the next channel we have is Defunctland. They have recently reached 1 million subscribers. A channel I need to actually watch more of. I haven't seen their content in a while, but obviously if they have 1 million subs, they're doing something right. Very high quality videos in production, and they have some interesting videos. I believe they made one recently-ish on the SeaWorld ride that failed, the SeaWorld San Diego one. And I'm sure and of course they have a lot of other great videos, so great channel. Make sure to check them out. And then our next channel we have is Hershey Addict. Another previous guest of the channel recently reached 3,000 subs. If you want to get caught up on Hershey Park stuff, just anything, or just want to watch anything on Hershey Park, he's the channel to go to. And like I said, previous guest, great content, and congrats to him on reaching 3,000 subs. Now, the next two channels you put on the document, so if you could go into them, Augie, that would be great.
Yeah, most of these I just like went through my subscriptions page on YouTube and saw which ones are close or like just hit milestone. But let me gotta find it on the document. Alright, so Coaster Productions has reached 1,000 subscribers. I don't really know a whole lot about them, but I know I've seen a few of their videos, so I've subscribed to them, but I just know they've just reached 1,000 subscribers.
They got to be doing something right, so that's good. Congrats to Coaster Productions.
And it's a similar thing with Coaster Focus, who also just reached 1,000 subscribers. Like, I think I remember seeing one of their videos, they did an analysis of the wood coaster POV at Night Valley in China. And that was like a really good video. They do a lot of creative like editing and stuff. So I subscribed to the channel, and it's a really good channel. I suggest subscribing to. And then there's also National Coasters, who just reached 2,000 subscribers. He does like sort of goes over obscure rides and stuff that like obscure rides and like abandoned rides and stuff that people don't really know about and that sort of thing.
Ooh, I gotta check him out more.
Really recently. And then there's another channel called Coaster Focus who does like mostly vlogs. He just reached 1,000 subscribers too. He does mostly like vlog videos and stuff. I think he's one of the best coaster vloggers and stuff because he has a lot of people in his videos and he's really funny. It's kind of like the Coaster Idiot series, Malcolm Ryan.
Nice.
And yeah, that's I think all I put down.
All right. I'm gonna have to check out National Coasters and really all these channels. I'm pretty unfamiliar with. Like I've heard of some of them, but I'm not too familiar with them. But I'm definitely gonna have to check them out. Make sure to check them out as well, you guys, if you haven't seen them. So yeah. Next, we're gonna go into the second Q&A. So if you had any questions that we didn't answer, you can ask them now. Or if you have any new questions, you can also ask them. And if you have a question just for me, that's fine. Or if you have a question just for Augie, that's also fine. And if you have a question for both of us, that's also great. So ask away. We'll be doing that. And then we'll be switching it around for questions for the viewers. So that's pretty much going to be that. So, yeah. So, let's see. Any questions coming through yet? I'm not seeing anything on my feed. Probably one will come
also,
up pretty soon.
Is my mic doing a little bit better now, or is it still glitching out a bit?
It is still glitching out a bit, but I'm able to get most of... Yeah, I get pretty much all of what you're saying. And I haven't heard too many complaints in chat, so I think they're getting the gist as well. So that's probably about as good as we're gonna get, which it's all right. Well, that'll work. Will we ever get another The Coaster Community Sings video?
It depends, because I did that using like this one like JavaScript thing that was only like tuned to that song, so I can't really like do that video on my own. So I think it's just like have to do the one song and stuff. So I probably can't unless I did new people for the same song.
Dang. Well, I mean, the first one's pretty good. Well, the one you have now is pretty good, so. Um, let's see. Ever thought of doing a China coaster trip?
Alright, I know why he's asking that, because we have like in his roller coaster server, we have like a Chinese
Plan.
amusement park trip planned for a few years in the future. So he's like referencing that.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've seen that, so that makes sense. I would
I
would like to go
I
there,
think like
but
yeah, you have to have a certain rule on this server to like access the channels that are about it. But yeah,
that's cool. Hope you guys get to do that. It's if that all ends up working out. Um, I'd like to go. Um, and I think at some point I will, but probably not for a good while. Probably we'll have to do most of the stuff here in the U.S. first, and probably some other countries probably first. But it does sound
yeah,
interesting
Europe
for
would be
sure.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. That would be great. Let's see. Um, do we both play baseball? You do. I don't. You can go into that a little more if you want.
So I was on my high school JV team this past year. I'll probably be on varsity this year, and I'm also on a 16U travel baseball team. We actually have a game today. Just got scheduled today, which is kind of annoying, but yeah, it's like a night game. It's at 7:30 in this place near Baltimore. And usually when I play baseball, I either play pitcher, catcher, first base, or outfield. Like I can play a lot of positions. I'm just not like amazing at any of them.
Yeah, but you got good versatility, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I hope you do. I don't know how like your varsity stuff works. The only sports I ever did were cross country and track. So, but I hope you are able to get on it. That'd be good.
Thanks.
So yeah, yeah. The only sports I ever did were cross country and track. Like I said, pretty good though at
I'm
those.
pretty sure that
But yeah.
at my school, you can just like sign up for the cross country or track. You don't have to try out or anything. I don't know how it is.
No, you don't. For at least for us, no, you don't have to like. You're just on the team, but the problem there is still a varsity and a non-varsity, but you still race even if you're not varsity. So, yeah. Let's see. Favorite coaster color schemes of the ones I've seen. I actually it's not. I mean, I do like Gatekeeper, but it's not one of my favorite coasters. But I do really like the color scheme, like just the different shades of blue on the track. I think that looks really cool. And then Twisted Colossus having the blue and green track on the white supports. Those are probably my two favorites that I can think of right now.
I think any coaster that uses like a purplish pink looks really cool. Like Mystic at Walby in, I think it's like France is where the park is. And then also, of course, DC Rivals at Warner Bros. Movie World looks really cool. And also, like Joker at Discovery Kingdom, I like how they made each of the rails different colors.
Yeah, I like it too. I like it too. I don't know. I mean, I guess it would look weird if it were white supports, but I don't know. Like just I mean, it is just like a wood. It just looks like wooden support, so I guess it is what it is. But I do like the track colors, for sure. That one's also a pretty cool one. When will we do a South Africa coaster trip? They probably have some cool things. I do like visiting places that aren't like coasters and stuff. So I could probably do something that would warrant going there besides just going to Gold Reef City, but not anytime soon. Not one of the things that is like super high on my bucket list right now.
Yeah, they used to have like, I forget the name of it. It was some other park in South Africa. It was another pretty major park, but it just closed down in like 2018. So
Yikes.
it's probably like not worth it anymore unless you're going there for other things other than coasters, which you probably would be if you're going to South Africa.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know exactly what they have, but I could look into it and find some stuff. It wouldn't be that hard, I don't think.
I think they had a SLC. I'm pretty sure they had an SLC. I would like that. I would.
Yeah, that would be cool. Let's see. Which is better, Kentucky Kingdom or Holiday World? I have never been to either of them. And have you been to either of them?
No, I haven't been either. I was supposed to go to Kentucky Kingdom this year, like on this trip that I'm going on next month, but instead we're probably gonna go to Six Flags St. Louis and Great America because it's on the way to like the places that we're going more than Kentucky Kingdom. But I think that probably Holiday World looks like a better park. I think
Yeah, I
Kentucky
agree.
Kingdom might have a better ride lineup. But Holiday World has like the free drinks and the super nice staff, and it like wins Clean Park Award every single year. It just looks like a really well run park. Plus the water park.
Yeah, I'd say if you're looking for the better overall park and you would like to do the water park, Holiday World's the way to go. Also, if you really like wooden coasters, I mean, yeah, that's a pretty obvious choice. But maybe if you're just looking for the better coaster lineup, or I guess just overall like ride lineup, I guess debatably you could say it's Kentucky Kingdom. Either way, you're probably getting a really good park. So,
Both,
but yeah.
both parks are really good value too. Like at Holiday World, you get those free drinks and free parking and everything, and Kentucky Kingdom is just tickets are so cheap there.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, you can't really go wrong with either of them. We need an Antarctica coaster trip. Yeah, definitely, definitely. That's something I have planned in the future for sure. Yeah, the DC Rivals color scheme. I was gonna mention that when you said it. That is also a really good one, though I haven't seen it in person. X looked kind of ugly in my opinion before X2. It's an acquired taste. The
The
color scheme
original
for
X I might put as like maybe number one worst.
It's an acquired
No.
taste, but I don't. Some people do like it, but I don't see it. I think it doesn't look great. I think the newer one is a lot better, but I never saw the old one in person.
I think it might be one of those where it looks terrible on camera, but it might be better in person. But it just
Yeah,
the new paint job is so much better.
yeah. I can't even I can't even imagine writing it and it looks like the way it was. That I mean, it's hard for me to imagine because I've done it so much the other way. So, yeah. Let's see. Any other questions? Are you going to Bay Beach on your trip? I'm not sure what trip they're referring to. This is for you, Augie.
Usually, like every year I go to Wisconsin to visit my grandparents.
Oh,
Or no,
got it.
my grandparents, they used to live there. They live somewhere else now, but I still have family in Wisconsin. But it's not really anywhere near Green Bay, so probably not. We're not even going to Wisconsin this year, but we're probably going to go to Wisconsin next year. But we're probably going to go to Little America instead, because it's just a little closer.
Yeah.
Don't want to drive like all that way just for one coaster, even if it is then
I imagine. Wait, but have you been to Mount Olympus or
Mount
no?
Olympus. No, I haven't. But we're gonna go to Little America because we're just gonna like stop there, like on the way to like some other place. Just stop there for like an hour or so.
Oh, and just get the creds and get out. All right, that's
Yeah.
cool. All right. Let's see. Let's see. I don't see any more questions, so we might be ready to move on, I think. Yeah, I'm not seeing too many more. So I think we're gonna do that. And we're gonna move on to questions for you, the viewers. And our first one is gonna be favorite 1-2 punch you've experienced. And we are not gonna answer this one because that's actually an upcoming segment, so we're not gonna do that. But yeah, favorite 1-2 punch you've experienced. That is our first question.
Can I give an honorable mention though? Because
Yeah,
it's
you
not
can,
on my
absolutely.
list.
Yeah.
All right. Because I want to mention King's Dominion because I haven't been there yet, but I know I'm going on like the 26th or 27th this year, and obviously they have like Intimidator 305 and Twisted
Twisted
Timber, so I know
Timbers,
they'd
yeah.
be probably top 2 for me, but I can't put it on because I at least haven't been there yet.
That's fair. Yeah, that one's gonna be. Yeah, that one looks amazing. Uh,
And both
I mean,
yeah, you can go.
I said, I mean, I just hope that they're both. I don't think either of them have too many issues, but I just hope both of them are open for you when you're there.
And I feel like they complement each other like really well. Like you have the one that's focused on airtime, and then the one that's like crazy intense to me.
Yeah, that also like they're two very different rides, but they're both incredible, and they do complement each other very well. It seems like so. Yeah. Leviathan and Behemoth for Mr. Color Roaster. The two B&M hypers, I guess, like models. So, that's pretty good. Boston Mr. Freeze, that counts. Yeah, that's a legitimate top 2. I mean, I know some people would like switch it around, maybe include American Thunder or whatnot, but that's a pretty good one. So
That's my top 2 at the park. American Thunder's really close though. American Thunder's really underrated.
yeah, I know some people would like switch it around with like American Thunder and Screaming Eagle, but yeah, that's a good top 2. And then Superman the Ride and Wicked Cyclone. That's like, well, I mean, I haven't done it, but it seems like one of the best. So, depending on how bad the restraints on Superman are, I don't know if it's gonna be bad enough to the point where it's like like it really disappoints me. But I haven't ridden it, so I wouldn't know. Let's see. I'm not seeing any. I'm not seeing any other top 2s. So, I think. All right, we think we're gonna move on. If one comes in, then yeah. Oh, okay. I just saw King's Dominion might be better than Cedar Points. I could see that. I could see
I don't know.
that.
I really like Millennium Force a lot. That's my number 2 at Cedar Point. Like I like it way more than most people do. So I'd probably take Cedar Point still because Steel Dimension's my number 1, and Millennium Force is my number 3.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, for you that would be very hard to beat. So, for me, I could see that, but because Millie isn't even in my Cedar Point top 2, so, but yeah. So the next question we have is favorite Pixar movie. We're doing something that's not necessarily coaster related. Just like to throw one of these in every stream. So favorite Pixar movie, and we can answer this one. What's yours?
So my favorite is Toy Story 3 because I don't know,
Yeah.
they have some like really cool, just everything about the movie I like. I like the pacing of it, and the animation looks really cool, and also like the whole story with Andy moving out and like going away from his toys. It like resonates a lot more now because I haven't touched my toys in like 5 years at least.
Yeah. That one's up there for me. It's like top tier for me. And yeah, the older I've gotten, like the more and more it's resonated. So I 100% agree with that. My favorite though is Ratatouille, and I see a few people put it on here. Just like it's like it's hard to explain, but like it's just such a obviously. I mean, yes, it is a little older, but the animation still looks really good in my opinion. It's like one of the funniest Pixar movies in my opinion. And it's one that it is, I feel like, a little more oriented to older audiences. So I definitely liked it a lot better the last time I watched it rather than, but like way before. At least for Pixar standards, I'd say it's definitely more geared toward older audiences.
Yeah, that
also,
one's. You can go. You can go.
no, I was pretty much done. You can go.
Okay. So Ratatouille is up there for me, but I don't think it's like my top 3 or anything because I didn't watch it very much when I was little. I maybe watched it like once, So
Oh,
it
wow.
doesn't have like a connection with me or anything. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, that's fair. I would agree. I didn't really have much of a connection to it when I was younger because I actually didn't care for it that much. But uh, like the last few times I've watched it, uh, I've liked it so much, so it's overcome it. So yeah, I see Wally on here. Wally's another pretty good one. At least Monsters Inc. That's actually one I'm surprised that I didn't like it that much when I was younger. I don't know why or what was wrong with me, but that
Also,
one's one of the funnier ones.
Inside Out's really good in my opinion. I know it's like some people don't really like it, but it's one of the best in my opinion. Probably my number two.
I do really like it as well, so I do really like that one. I think I've only seen it twice though, which is insane because I didn't even watch it when it came out uh, for whatever reason. Cars and Toy Story franchises. Zootopia is Disney, but still pretty good movie. Um, not Zootopia is not Pixar. Yeah, that's correct. But I mean, it is Disney, so I can see the mix up there. Um, and I'm not seeing too
Also,
many. Oh, you go, yeah.
shout out to Cars 2.
Yes, of course. Yeah, definitely. I guess I'll just mention it because it hasn't been mentioned. Some of my other like favorite ones are Coco. That's one of my favorites. I know some people are kind of uh, a little iffy about it, but I just really like it. The animation looks really good. The art style of it. And I think it's got a good story to it. And like my mom came from Mexico. She lived there for a while, so that's another reason. So yeah. So that's another really good one, at least in my opinion. Oh, and Incredibles. Yeah, I don't know how we haven't mentioned that one. The first one, obviously. That's another one of my favorites. The animation hasn't aged the best, but it's just a great movie. So that's another one.
I actually haven't seen Coco yet before.
Oh, really?
Because like
That's fair.
it's the only Pixar movie I haven't seen. I'm just never in the mood to watch it for some reason. I don't know. I've just never gotten to watching it. I want to watch it at some point though.
Yeah, it's a good one. So, uh, also Luca, it just came out. That one I actually like quite a bit too. Which I was kind of surprised with.
I liked it a lot, but I think it's kind of like more mid tier because it doesn't have like a lot of the like emotional stuff that a lot of other Pixar movies have that add to it.
That's fair. It does feel. After I watched it, I'm like it's a pretty small movie, but I actually kind of like it for that reason, because Pixar doesn't really do that a whole lot, at least
It's
in my.
it's a lot different. from all the
So
other
I actually
Pixar
liked
movies.
it because it was really different. Ferdinand is not a Pixar movie. I've actually never seen it, still to this day. So one I've actually been a little curious about, but I just haven't ever gotten around to watching it. So it was made by Blue Sky, I believe. Yes, it was. So technically, it is a Disney movie now. But yeah. So
Pretty sure
well,
that Blue Sky is like gone now.
yeah, Blue Sky
Like,
died. Disney killed him.
yeah, Disney moved them.
They yeah, they pretty much they're dead now. So that's unfortunate. We'll go to our next question though, which is I need to pull it up. Oh, I stole this one from Coaster Roaster from the Airtime Thrills Discord, so but have you seen a well-known coaster enthusiast or a celebrity at a park? Because I know sometimes we have not like I've heard some stories about like how someone saw like a big actor or something like that. So yeah.
So when I was at Magic Kingdom, I saw were having like a Chicago Cubs World Series parade there because the Cubs had just won the World Series, and I walked right by these two players. I can't remember what one of them was, but I know the other one was Javier Baez. I don't know if anyone knows him. He's like this really good shortstop. Well, he was really good back then. He's kind of slowed down, but he's yeah. It was just really cool to see him in person because I was a huge MLB fan back then.
That's
I
cool.
didn't say anything or anything because I was like an awkward 11-year-old.
That's fair. No, that I that's totally Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I've seen, outside of amusement parks, I've seen, like, people I've recognized, so it's like, and I've just, I didn't usually, those, points I didn't really usually have the nerve, or my parents, like, helped me out with that, or my brother did. But for me, the only guys I've ever seen at a park are Coaster Studios. I was walking down the platform of Hang Time during Scary Farm, and he was doing his filming thing. So I talked to him for a little bit. And then I saw Drew from Parks Bros, but he was on the platform, so I couldn't really talk to him, which was unfortunate, but that wasn't really my plan to really see anybody that day. It just happened. And that's pretty much it for, like, parks. I can't think of anyone else I've seen. Someone said they saw.
I've also, I saw a bunch of kids from Coaster Kids in, like, I think it was early November of 2019 at Six Flags America. I think I saw, like, Sam and Skylar and Declan and Dane and Maddie. They were all there together. I don't know if you know those people. It was Coaster Kids back then. I think they moved to Thrills United now.
Yeah, I recognize their names, so, yeah, literally everyone at Hollywood Nights. Yeah, that would make sense. And Keys to the Kingdom. Theme Park Media at Six Flags St. Louis. I think for me it's a little problematic because most of these coaster YouTubers specifically are on the East Coast, it seems like. So, and because I'm on the West Coast, it's like, that's probably why I've hardly seen anybody. Heck, I've hardly even seen any, like, people I like looked at and I'm like, oh, they're an enthusiast. Like, even that, so it's pretty interesting.
Hershey Park, for some reason, has, like, a ton of people that you can just tell from looking at them that they're enthusiasts. Like, they have the park t-shirt on and the cargo shorts and everything. Like, you just know that they're an enthusiast.
I actually don't wear I've never worn cargo pants or cargo shorts to a park. So if anyone is trying to find me, you're not gonna find me that way. I have sweatpants with zipper pockets or shorts with zipper pockets. That's generally what I go with. So if you're trying to find me anytime, you're not gonna find me that way. Let's see.
Also, if he wasn't, like, a YouTuber or anything, like, notable enthusiast, but when I was riding Green Lantern at Great Adventure, the whole time, like, up the lift hill, I was talking to this drunk enthusiast that was next to me. He was definitely drunk.
Oh god. Well, that's an interesting experience. So, I saw someone with a Fury shirt at Magic Mountain. He was getting some footage. I didn't recognize the guy, but there was some person in, like, the parking lot getting footage of, like, X2 or something. I'm like, and I wasn't wearing a coaster shirt, so that day, but I remember that. Let's see. UK enthusiast, theme park worldwide. TBPW. I think that's what that is. Coaster Bot. And Coaster Dan. Yeah, I don't recognize the other one for some reason. Jack Silkstone. But it seems like I've seen quite a few people, so that's cool.
I think I've heard of Jack Silkstone, but I don't really know who he is. I've heard the name, though.
I think I've heard the name. I don't know who it is, but that's cool. You saw Whoopi Goldberg at Disneyland when you were 4. Nice. That's a good one. You sat next to Rob Alfie on Terminator Salvation. That must have been an interesting experience. That's all I can say. That's pretty crazy.
I wonder if he does his, like, wheeze and stuff when he's not recording.
Oh god. That is a question. Yeah. I would be curious. Let's see. Oh, we have another question. I guess I don't have a favorite coaster YouTuber. There's, like, I actually did a tier list on my Instagram, and even that I left off some people. But everyone I put in was, like, an SRA. So if you want a better idea, you can look at that. But I don't really have a favorite. I have, like, a few. Like, I definitely have a few that I would say are my favorites. But I watch a lot of them, and I think there's a lot of really good ones. So I don't really have a true like number one at this point, so I don't rank them. So yeah.
I think El Toro, Ryan, Airtime Thrills, and OK Coasters are my top three.
Yeah, all of those, if you looked at my thing, they were an S tier. I had a few other ones in there too that were up there. But yeah, I don't have like a true number one. So yeah. So let's see what else we have. I think that's all. Okay, I think that's it. All right, so then we're going to move on to the next segment, which is going to be our first countdown. And this will be our top 5 1-2 punches we've experienced. This is why neither of us answered the question earlier. So I guess, Augie, we can have you start off. What is your number 5? We're doing 5 to 1, by the way.
You go first because I wrote down this somewhere, but I gotta find the papers. I don't know where I put it.
Got it. All right, I'll go first then. My number 5 is, and this one was actually pretty tough to choose. There was 2 I was going back and forth between: Great America, California's Great America, and Knott's Berry Farm. But I did go with Knott's in the end. Ghost Rider and Accelerator, 2 very different rides. Ghost Rider is obviously like the longer ride and more focused on airtime and has some strong laterals, and Accelerator is just a rush, and of course brings the launch. And is a much shorter ride. I think they complement each other very well. Ghost Rider is also like one of my top 5 coasters, so it of course like that's gonna rank pretty high for me. And Accelerator is also pretty good. I have yet to get a front row ride on Accelerator though, which might even put it higher because I have Dragster quite a bit higher than it. So I need to get that, but my number 5 for now is Knott's Berry Farm. You have your number 5?
Yeah, that's a good one. It's probably better than my number 5. I have Six Flags America, my home park. It's basically a tie between this and Six Flags St. Louis. I just couldn't really pick which one. With Superman, Ride of Steel, and Batwing. And that might like sound not very good to you guys, but I think both those coasters are extremely underrated. So in my opinion, it's actually pretty high up there. Like Superman, Ride of Steel is my number 7 or 8. No, I think it's like my number 8 now, and then Batwing's like my number 20.
That's pretty solid. Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like an underrated top 2. I've always been curious about the Vekoma Flying Dutchman, so Batwing is, I could totally see that. And then a Ride of Steel. That one I'm curious to ride as well, because I've heard the airtime on it is really good. But it also has mixed opinions, so that's another one I'm curious to ride. I guess I'll go.
How they fit together too, because like one's all about the ejector time, then the other one's about the flying and intensity.
Yeah, that too. I didn't even think of that. Those complement each other really well. So, yeah, that's a good one. My number 4 is going to be Hershey Park. I have not ridden Candemonium. I don't know if it would even be on here if I did. But my top 2 here is Skyrush and Stormrunner. Skyrush is my number 3. Stormrunner is, I believe, my number 12 or 13. One of those. I mean, like, I guess both of these are relatively close in actual ride length. I think if you count, I mean, Skyrush feels longer than Stormrunner, but Skyrush, it has obviously the airtime. It has insane airtime and, of course, very strong positives. Stormrunner has the launch and the unique layout with the inversions, and it also has some airtime of its own. And of course, the launch is pretty intense. So, 2 really good rides, just in general. Maybe don't complement each other the best compared to some of the other ones, but they're really good. So of course they're going to be on here. So that's going to be my number 4. What's yours?
Well, Hershey Park's later on my list, but it's not right now. Right now I have a number 4 Six Flags Great America with Max, Force, and Goliath. And Raging Bull is really, really good, but it's like I have a number 3.
Yeah, that's another. I mean, both of those are also actually pretty short rides, too. But it seems like Great America, outside of Raging Bull, a lot of their better. I guess that's their top 3, so they are going to be pretty short. But they are very different, so I can totally see that.
And it's another one of those where like both of those rides, I think they're really underrated. So I think of like that lineup a lot more highly than other people would.
Yeah. Max Force I really want to do. Goliath isn't like super high on my bucket list, but it still looks really good, so. But Max Force
Goliath
is definitely...
has like everything you want in an RMC, just like not very much of it, if that makes sense.
So I guess quality over quantity, so that's good.
Yeah.
Did I put it up there? I think I did, so I'll just do that real quick. My number 3 is Six Flags Mexico. The top 3 was actually pretty hard to rank, and this will be Medusa Steel Coaster and Superman El Ultimo Escape. Medusa Steel, I believe, is actually my number 5, and El Ultimo Escape is my number 6 as of right now. So they're pretty close, pretty tight together. Like El Ultimo Escape has really good airtime, really strong airtime, and the positive forces on it are a lot a lot better than you would expect. And I mean, I think anyone who's ridden it super recently has kind of said that. So El Ultimo Escape is a great ride, and the pre-lift section is also like crazy. Medusa Steel, it doesn't have the strongest airtime, especially for RMC standards, but the layout, it just flows super well. No dead spots on it at all, and I actually really like the inversions on it, so that's why I actually have it ranked higher than something like Twisted Colossus, which it does have stronger airtime, Twisted Colossus, but the layout doesn't flow as well, especially with like the break in between like the first and second half of it. So yeah, so that's my number 3. What's yours?
Alright, so my number 3 is park I just went to, Six Flags Great Adventure. Well, El Toro would be number 1, but it's close. So King Dakar and Jersey Devil.
Nice.
So both these are like ranked right, they're literally right next to each other in my rankings at number 6 and 7. And they're both like really good rides, but both flawed ones at the same time. Both really intense though.
Yeah, both of those like King Dakar, that's another one just because I like dragsters so much. I'm just like, I'm really curious to do it. And Jersey Devil is another one when it comes to Magic Mountain or the extended clone does. I'll be excited to try it.
Jersey Devil, I think, it was running really fast when I read because the heat index was 103 degrees. So yeah, it was flying.
It's
like,
gonna have
I could have got like ejector on the hills at the end. Like they were not overhyped. It just, I hated the trains. The trains were terrible.
Oh, the Raptor. Yeah, I've already experienced them, so I know.
It's not even like the restraints that I don't like. I'm fine with the restraints. It's just the seating position. It like completely destroyed my knees because you have to like angle your legs outward, like to straddle the track, and it's really uncomfortable.
Huh. Interesting. I wouldn't say I had that issue, but interesting to hear about that. I've only done Railblazer though, so maybe that's what it is. And also, the clone coming here to California is probably gonna run great, just because it's like always super hot here. So, or at least in the summer, it's gonna run really well. So I don't have any concerns about that. My number 2 is Cedar Point, which might be surprising that it's not my number 1. But I, of course, here have Steel Vengeance, and I do have Dragster Maverick. I have Dragster ranked higher, but I kind of base that off my front row ride, because I'd say, like, the back, I would actually rank Maverick higher just in general. I know that's a little weird, but it doesn't really matter. It wouldn't put it at, like, it wouldn't change the ranking, so I just decided to put both. You could switch it, basically. But I'm not including 3 on here, because that's just not what this meant to me. But you can just look at it as Vengeance and Dragster. Steel Vengeance is my number 1. Obviously, it is really good when it comes to airtime, and it is a super long ride, and just the amount they were able to put in it is insane. And then something like Dragster, it's a lot shorter of a ride, but it just brings like such a rush that and it's just such a different ride that I think it complements it pretty well. And then Maverick, if I were to put it instead of Dragster, another pretty long ride, but it's definitely more intense, I would say, than Steel Vengeance. So that's kind of thing there, and that's my number 2. What's yours?
Also, about your ranking, I agree with what Millie Man said in the chat. They have an Intamin Giga, by the way. If you forgot.
Yeah. Wait, is that your number 2
Right,
or?
My number 2 is Hershey Park with Skyrush and Fahrenheit.
Got it.
Because I don't know, I think Fahrenheit's the most underrated coaster I've ever ridden. It does everything I love in a coaster perfectly. Because it has like amazing pacing and also awesome eject airtime, which is pretty much the 2 things I value most. And it's also pretty intense. It was surprisingly intense. And then there's Skyrush, which is Skyrush.
Yeah.
Pretty self-explanatory.
You did back row and Fahrenheit, I assume, or maybe multiple different ones, or mostly back row.
I only got one ride because it went down the second half of the day, and it was actually down for like a month starting that day. But I got a back row ride in the morning.
Yeah, that's where it's at. Like, if the people that complain about Fahrenheit, usually they didn't get a back row ride, so that's why they say it's forceless.
I almost blacked out on the transition between I think it was the Norwegian loop and dive loop. It was like surprisingly intense. The pull up was really tight.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it was in like I guess like in my experience, I didn't find it to be that intense. But it wasn't that hot of a day I went, so that might have played a factor. But when people said it was forceless, I'm like, I don't know about that. That's definitely not true, I would say. But it's good that some people are getting better rides on it, so I like hearing about that. And then my number 1 is actually Six Flags Magic Mountain. I actually don't really rank them high in a lot of things. It's my number 5 park, so it's not. I wouldn't say I have like a bias towards it in terms of this, but I mean X2 and Twisted Colossus. I think the reason they're my number 1. I mean X2 is my number 2, and then Twisted Colossus is my number 7. And they're so different, and they're actually very unique just compared to most of the rides around the world. I mean, yes. We have 2 better 4D coasters than X2, supposedly, according to people who've ridden it. But for North America, you can't get anything like X2. And Twisted Colossus, because of the dueling when it duels, that also makes it unique. And even if you don't put that, just because you have 2 different sides, it also makes it unique. Just X2 is extremely intense, the most intense ride I've ever done, and then Twisted Colossus is more of the more fun ride experience that also has incredible airtime. So that's my number 1, and yeah, that's pretty much that. Magic Mountain, X2, and Twisted Colossus. And your number 1 is
pretty predictable. It's number 1, Cedar Point with Steel Vengeance and Millennium Force.
Yeah.
So, it might be controversial, Millennium Force at 2, but I don't care. I think Millennium Force is just like a really good experience. It's so fast, and I love the setting. It's just so fun. Most fun coaster ever.
Yeah, Millennium Force. My second ride on it definitely saved it for me because I rode it at night. That definitely helped because my first experience was like in the morning, and that was just not good. But it was in the morning, so kind of makes sense. But night ride was really good. So, and it is a pretty fun coaster. Just maybe not quite my thing, but that's still a really good top 2. And I can see why you would have Millennium Force like so high. So, or like just yeah. So I can see that.
Steve is my number 1. Millie is my number 3 coaster. So.
Nice. The next thing we're gonna do here is, let's see. I need to get the format up. Topics to discuss. We have 3 of them today, including what will be another countdown, but this will be a shorter one, so that's why I put it in. And the first one is, I don't know if you saw this before the stream or not, and I know you've made videos on this, but I think it has been a little while, so I figured why not go back to it. But your home park, or at least one of them, is Six Flags America, which I think the reputation is like improving, but like, oh, it just has, because some of the bigger coaster YouTubers, I guess, haven't had the best experiences there. It's kind of like looked at in not the best light. But I guess I just wanted to ask, what do you like about the park, and do you think it deserves like its kind of reputation, or no, not at all?
Right, so it definitely used to deserve the reputation. Like, it used to not be a very good park. Like, it wasn't very well ran back when Dan Snyder was in charge. It was
Oh God.
also not very good at running some other
Football
things
team.
too.
Yeah.
And then, so they brought new management in 2010, and it's really been just getting better and better every single year. Until now, I think it's a pretty good park. It's always just a fun time every single time I visit. They have some good rides. It's not like super nice, but it's not like a bad looking park. It's just kind of a nice place to be. And yeah, they have like some of the best employees of the Six Flags park, because they're always super nice and they always like joke around with the guests. They're just pretty fun. It seems like they want to be there.
That's good. Yeah, it's a park I actually could have went a few years back in 2017, because I was in Washington D.C. But the only thing was I could only go to one park, and considering I could choose between that and Hershey Park and Great Adventure, I just wasn't gonna choose America. That wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah, go to Hershey, definitely over
Yeah.
America.
So I did go to Hershey instead, but it is a park that I like. I didn't pass by it to the point where I could see it, but just knowing I was so close to it, it was just like, dang, that I just missed it.
About that, even if you're right next to the park, like, it's surrounded by trees, so you could be right in front of it and you don't see it at all. So if you pass by the park, you're not going to see anything.
That might be why I didn't see it. I don't know if I was where I would need to be able to see it from a distance, but I didn't even see it. So,
If you know where the Washington football team is, stadium
the stadium.
is, then it's like right down the street from there.
I believe I did see the stadium. Or I saw a stadium and I assumed it was that one, but I may have been wrong. But I don't know. I didn't see the park though at all. But I'll go there at some point. I'll be back in DC. I need to revisit. So, it'll happen. The next topic we'll go into is, actually, I'm gonna switch this around. We're gonna go do unexpectedly good elements on coasters. Just like naming a few, you guys in the chat can also put some in. These can be like good elements on a coaster that already is really good, or maybe good elements on a coaster that isn't maybe as well known, or like just one that isn't like maybe as amazing overall, but it has like one or a few good moments. So I guess I guess you can go first. Do you have any that come to mind?
Yeah, there's a American Eagle at Six Flags Great America. I was not expecting this at all, but right around Red Side, we were just like kind of cruising around the Helix. Like, the Helix is probably the most boring part of the ride, and then you come out of the Helix, and there's this little dip that comes down out of the Helix, and you get like absolute. I don't know if it's the profiling or something, but you get launched on that hill, like some crazy ejector time. It was just best part of the ride for sure. And
Yeah,
it's just
that
like this
sounds
little dip too. It's really weird to describe unless you've actually ridden it.
That I've heard like things about Canopy Coaster reviewed Montaña Rusa, and he said something similar, like how it doesn't look like it does have like some shallow drops. It doesn't look like it would give ejector, but it does, or it doesn't look like it would do much, but it like absolutely launches you. So I mean, I haven't ridden anything that would compare, but like I can kind of imagine. So that's good. Any
Also,
other ones?
the Helix, I want to give a shout out to the Helix on Nitro. Like, I wasn't really expecting it, because it's a B&M Hybrid. B&M Hybrids usually aren't very intense.
Yeah.
But the Helix on Nitro is so intense.
That's a good one. Yeah, I don't hear about that too often, so that's a pretty good one. I haven't done a P&M Hyper though, so I can't even relate to that one bit. So it is what it is. Let's see if I'll get to mine. We'll see if there's any in the chat that I've let's see come up. Let's see. Airtime Hills on Phoenix at Knobles. Yeah, I mean, it is a pretty hyped up ride, but sometimes, like, I know some people go in with pretty low expectations, so I've heard those are great. Haven't experienced it myself, but yeah. Let's see. Let's see. First drop on Boss, and the ejector Death Hill and Zip and Pippin, but people overhype it. I hear it's good after a certain point in the day when it's warmed up, or it's at its best. So maybe that's it, or maybe it just is. The moment seems pretty crazy though, so I could see that.
Yeah, that looks like one of those where it's mostly the profiling too that like launched people. The shaping of the hill.
Yeah, it looks super weird, but it looks crazy, so that's a good one. Viper at Darien Lake, first drop in the back gives really good ejector. Dang. Yeah, I think I saw the POV of it at one point. I'm like, that first drop actually looks pretty good. Wouldn't have known it was that good, but that's cool. And the drop on Wacky Worms, of course. I guess for me, some of my unexpectedly good elements, I'll go with one that is on like a really good coaster. The Steel Vengeance, like off-axis hill heading into the structure, is actually my favorite moment of the ride. Wasn't expecting it to be that good, but I do like other off-axis hills, so I guess it kind of makes sense that it's one of my favorites. And it's one of the, like, it's not like the huge wave turn thing. I actually didn't think that was as good as people were hyping it up to be, but the off-axis hill heading into the structure was really good. And then another one from a coaster I just rode, West Coaster. The first airtime hill on it is unusually powerful. Like, it's very weird. I've ridden El Ultimo Escape, and the airtime is kind of similar to like some of the moments on it. Not quite as strong, but still ridiculously powerful for like a family coaster that doesn't really look like it does much. So that's another one. So those would be like my two picks. So yeah, those are some pretty crazy moments. And then the last one we'll go into is our 5 most anticipated steel Chinese coasters. This will be a quicker list than the last one. But do you have your number 5?
Well, I think I gotta write it down again because I can't find my paper, so can you go over your number 5?
Sure, I got it. My number 5 is one that some people might think is pretty low, and that is Coaster Through the Clouds at Nanchang Sunak Land. I know some people would have it higher. It looks really good. It does look like, I mean, some people say it looks like a kind of like a better Millennium Force, and I can kind of see that. There are some like good looking airtime moments on it. The drop looks pretty solid. And it looks like at worst it looks like a really fun ride. So and it is like the tallest and fastest coaster in the country, so it is a coaster I'm definitely curious to ride whenever I get the chance. Do you have your number 5 now?
Yeah, I do. So
Alright, cool.
Since I have like an actual trip planned for China, I did like the 5 most anticipated from that trip.
Got
like
it.
that are actually on the itinerary. So number 5, I have Starry Sky Ripper.
Yeah.
So I think that probably looks like the second best B&M flyer, and there's so many great elements in it. Just watch a POV and you'll see what I mean.
Yeah, it does look insane, and you'll see that a little later on my list, believe it or not. I'm a big fan of Tatsu, so I am interested in other flying coasters as well, just because of that.
My only concern though is that like Superman Ultimate Flight is like the most overrated coaster I've ever ridden. I think it's gonna be just, eh.
I
But
haven't.
it's not like bad or anything.
Yeah, that one doesn't look that good to me. That Superman Ultimate Flight. So I just we'll see when I write it. My number 4. This one's gonna be a little controversial because technically it's 2 coasters, but I decided to put it in anyways because why not? This is Dueling Dragons at Ganjiao Sunak Land, if I pronounced that correctly, which I probably didn't. And if I had to pick a side, I'm more intrigued with the invert side just because we don't have many inverts like it, but I think the sit-down side looks better, if that makes sense. So, and of course this coaster, like, rarely ever duels, and I hear rarely ever operates both sides on the same day, which is pretty worrisome. But hopefully they figure that out. And also I've heard apparently at Coaster Enthusiast events over there, they actually will run them both. So, like, I don't know when those are, but like that might be the way to go in terms of planning. So, just very interesting. Both sides are very interesting to me, and I'd love to do it, just because it's something so unique. So that's my number 4. What's yours?
Yeah, about the enthusiast events though, I've heard that China actually has like a really big roller coaster enthusiast community. Except like they can't like share their opinions or like thoughts on works and stuff online because like CCP and stuff, you know. Don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
So my number 4 is actually the same exact thing, Dueling Dragons at Guangzhou Unified. Because I think, yeah, definitely like pretty much everything you said. Like the sit-down side looks a lot better than the invert side to me because it has a lot more airtime moments. But both sides look absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard coaster to like not be like just looking at it just because it's like so different from everything else that I've ever seen. It's just one that it's hard to like ignore. My number 3 is actually Starry Skyripper at Joyland, so this is where it shows up for me. Like you said, it looks insane, and I've looked at it as it's in some ways it looks pretty similar to the Dutchman's, but it's a B&M flyer, so I find that really interesting just because you're there's quite a few elements where you're on your back, so at least compared to other ones, so it's pretty high up there for me, and I'm a big fan of flying coasters, so I'm really curious to see how this one is. And I do think it looks better than Tatsu, just for example. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Python and Bamboo Forest at Nanjing Scenic Land. This one's this high mainly because when I look at a POV of it, like it looks really good, but I don't think it looks like amazing or anything. But then I read reviews, and then like every single review I've said that's ridden both Python and Wood Coaster say that Python's better. Which, I don't know. I don't really see it in the POV, but I think I have to ride it for myself to actually like understand the hype for the ride. I really want to go.
So I may have not communicated with you, but it's totally fine still. It's the top 5 Chinese steel coasters, just because I knew you made your series on the wooden coasters, so I actually wanted to avoid it because I thought, no, you're totally fine. It's all right.
I didn't see the steel.
That's probably my bad, really. But if I put it on here, it would probably actually be my number 2, and I would have it above Wood Coaster, which I know is like you're not like very unpopular. I don't know what it is. It just looks so incredible, and it's such a long ride. I mean, Wood Coaster is as well, but it definitely is really high up. It might be my number 1 bucket list wooden coaster, like out there. I'm not kidding. I think that and Wood Coaster are like my top 2 in the world. Unless I'm forgetting something, which I might be.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Flash at Lua Adventure, the Mach Hypercoaster. Now, yes, there is one in Turkey, but it's I think it's in a weird location, so I really don't know if I'm ever gonna go there. So for all intents and purposes, this is the one I assume I'll be able to ride. And it doesn't look as good as DC Rivals, but it still looks like it has some really good airtime moments and has some pretty solid inversions with the vertical loop that should probably give some really nice hang time. So it's an interesting hypercoaster. So and one that looks very good. So I have it here as my number 2. What's yours?
Yeah, so my number 2 is, well, I had Wood Coaster there, but I'm going to replace it with Coaster Through the Clouds.
Got it.
And Scenic Land. Because, I don't know, it's just an Intamin Mega Coaster. Intamin really never messes up with their Mega Coaster, so it has to be really good. And just, like, a lot of airtime and intense turns, and it just looks like my type of ride. Probably, I think it looks better than Python and Bamboo Forest, but I'm guessing that when I go there, I'll prefer Python.
That's fair. It looks like a really good top 2 there, though, which is nice because even though China has an amazing coaster collection in terms of, like, some of their best coasters, they're just all so spread apart that it's kind of unfortunate. It's not like there's one park with, like, a dominant lineup or something.
I think the park with the most coasters has like 11, and that park, like all their coasters are pretty trash. I'm pretty
Yeah, Sun Park has like 10 or 11 coasters, and like they don't have. I don't even know if they have a single like actually extreme like coaster. If they do, they might have like one. They have like 4 or 5 spinning coasters or something like that. So it's just I don't even know what to say. Or
also,
three.
this is kind
3
of
to 5,
random,
I don't
but
know.
one crazy thing is that when Wild West Mine Train closes this year, China is not going to have a single roller coaster built in the 20th century. Every single roller coaster they have is built like since 2000.
Wow. Oh, that's I mean,
Still
it doesn't necessarily sucks, but that's crazy. So, Ocean Park Hong Kong basically had their 2 oldest coasters, and now, or at least operating, I guess, because Dragon, which was removed, and now the Wild West Mine Train, which that one really sucks in my opinion. That one actually looks really fun. And now that's crazy. All of them were built in 2000 or sooner. That's insane.
That's at least what I heard. I'm fact checking myself right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, Dragon was pretty like, considering how many coasters they had, it was pretty like young for being like the country's oldest coaster. So you might be right. With that being said, I'm gonna go to my number 1, which this one also could be debatable because it's so similar to another coaster, but I have Dynaconda at China Dinosaurs Park. I've heard from some people it's even better than Edgenica. Edgenica is still like my number 1 most anticipated because it's just gonna be a lot easier for me to get there. But still, I would be very curious to ride both of these and see what I think. Both of them would be like my top 2 most anticipated because I really like X2, so I can't even imagine like a more insane version of it. So Dynaconda is my number 1 on here.
So I was lied to.
Okay.
It's not the only one, but there are a few. The oldest one is 1996, though, so it's not that far off.
Okay, fair enough. What's your number 1?
Also Dynaconda.
Oh, it's also
It's pretty
Dynaconda.
close to Joyland, so we're going to be hitting both those parks probably. And I think it actually looks better than Ajanica, because I've heard it's a bit smoother and the trains are longer. The elements are a little bit tighter, so I think it looks a little bit more intense.
Definitely one I'm gonna have to get there just because I didn't know that the trains were longer, although I guess now that I think about it, I guess it makes sense. But yeah, so those are our top 5 Chinese coasters, I guess. So there we go. Or my most anticipated, I should say. And with that being said, we're gonna go into the I guess we're already there already, unless I skipped over something. End of stream Q&A. I'm trying to think. Yeah, we started at 11, so within 2 hours. That's crazy. But yeah, so
There
we have
haven't been as many like viewers and like questions and stuff.
That's
today.
true. Yeah. Maybe just a weird day to do it, and after 4th of July weekend, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, end of stream Q&A. You can ask any questions you want. Of course, make sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe to Coaster Hour, to me if you haven't already, or follow my Instagram or Discord. They're all in the description. And then if you haven't subscribed to Coaster Roaster yet or followed him on Instagram, make sure to. Those are also in the description, so make sure to do that. And actually, I'm gonna take the time. There was one thing I wanted to talk about with like guests specifically, because there's I think a miscommunication on how I do guests, so I just want to address it here. And I've never really explained how I've done it, so generally when I invite guests, I'm the one who's basically doing the inviting, and I do it based off either who I want or polls or suggestions, just any of it. Because I've noticed like some people thought that like it's a request sort of thing, like they request to come on, because I know there's some like shows and stuff where you actually do that. If you do contact me about wanting to come on to Coaster Time, I won't be able to guarantee you will be able to come on. I'll just say that. So just because I have a lot of other guests I'm trying to get on as quickly as I can, that I've reached out to already. But if you do want to send me a request, you can do that through Instagram or Gmail. But like I said, I cannot guarantee that like I can get you on. But that's pretty much that. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say for that. So let's go into the questions now. What if coasters were made of rubber? They wouldn't last. Yeah.
Yeah, so about this is a little bit off topic, but one time when I was riding Millennium Force, my dad made a comment that the smell of burning rubber from like the train was like concerning. I think he was referring to the wheels, but they don't have rubber. They have metal wheels, so doesn't make sense. I don't know. He's GP, so.
I guess it was a different. They complained about the smell of burning rubber. Did they say? Or
yeah, my dad said like it
don't...
smelled like burning rubber.
Again, they must have mixed it up with something else. I have no clue how that could have happened. And then what's this? You're going to Michigan's Adventure this month, and what do we think is better, Shivering Timbers or the RMC trash can they're getting this year? Trash cans.
If the trash can is open.
Yeah, if the trash can's open, I mean, at this point it's more reliable than Shivering Timbers. Although, yeah, because Shivering Timbers, I heard, it wasn't even open for opening day, which is a little weird considering it's their big attraction. And of course it did have the train collision, but they did open it a week afterwards. But yeah, I don't know what to even think. So probably the trash can, because it's more likely that it'll be open. Hopefully Shivering Timbers is open for you when you're there, though. But yeah. Is having Steel Vengeance as your #1 considered not cool these days? Yeah, a lot of people.
I think if you have Steel Vengeance as your #1, you're like the most cool of anyone. Because you're like me.
You're the most what?
You're the most cool.
You're the most cool. It depends. I feel like like most people who've earned it do have it as their number. Well, actually, I can't even say that anymore. I think that's starting to change a little bit, but still, a lot of people that have earned it have it as their #1. Of course, like
a lot of people just like got annoyed, like of everyone just having it so high, and then just started trashing the ride, and then like it's still my #1.
Yeah, it's my #1. I think there's coasters that, looking at them, they might be able to top it, but I have no problem with having Steel Vengeance as my #1. It's a really good ride. You can't go wrong with it. So
I think Skyrush at Hershey Park is really close with Steel Vengeance at my #2.
Skyrush could do it if I actually ride it in the back row, which for whatever reason I didn't. So yeah, that's another
I got one ride Skyrush back row in the morning, and then like when I went to ride back row later in the day, they had the back 3 rows closed off for some reason. So I
Oh,
just
that
got a middle ride.
sucks. Dang. Well, that's unfortunate. They did have when I was there, they did have like a certain row closed, like, or certain seats closed off, but it was toward the back. It wasn't quite back row, but I remember that, so that was weird. Let's see what else we have. Butterflies on a coaster. Like, wait, you actually don't know what that means? Like, that's just like being nervous. That's it.
I thought it meant like the feeling like your stomach dropping. That's like usually what I thought.
No, I've heard this all the time. It's like, it's not even just with coasters and stuff. It's like just like in general when you're nervous before you do something. Like before I did a spelling bee in elementary school. Like someone was asking if I had like butterflies in my stomach or whatever. Yeah, generally it means in my experience, like if you're nervous. So that's pretty much what it means. At least that's how I understand it. Do we think Gold Striker, Renegade, or Mystic Timbers looks better? I'm gonna go for Renegade on that one.
I think Renegade looks like the best GCI outside of China, but I think Gold Striker looks like a really close number 2. And I know people complain about like the roughness on Gold Striker, but I think I might add to it actually because it would feel a little bit more out of control. I liked how Lightning Eraser the Thunder side was a bit rougher, and I liked that better about the Thunder side.
Interesting. Last time I rode it in the back row, the rough, I did not. It was actually rough, but it also wasn't running that great. But it was earlier, so. But then I got a front row ride later, and it was running better. It was still rough, but I would actually agree with you that it actually added something. Still wasn't my best rides I've had on it. The rides where it was like. I actually rode it opening year when I was just becoming an enthusiast, so maybe there's a little bit of bias there, but those rides were like phenomenal. So, on Gold Striker. So,
I haven't, just to note though, I haven't ridden actually any of those, so it's just prediction. The best GCI I've ridden is probably American Thunder. Out of the 4 I've ridden, I haven't ridden any of those.
Yeah, I've only done Gold Striker. I haven't done Renegade or Mystic Timbers.
Hopefully I'll get Mystic Timbers next year.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting a Cedar Fair Platinum Coast.
Some people find it weird. I've been to Cedar Point, but not Kings Island, so it is what it is. Especially because I'm from California and so far away. It's like, might as well just do it, but I didn't have the time, so it didn't work out.
I've only been to Cedar Point because we weren't like on a coaster trip. We stopped at Cedar Point like on the way to St. Louis where my grandparents live, so we weren't like going for coasters.
Makes sense. I haven't been on too many coaster trips because my family, they don't dislike coasters, but they're not coaster enthusiasts, so as of all my experiences up to this point, it's like I just take what I can get. Although Cedar Point, we did go, or me and my dad did go out of the way for a few years back. So yeah, but I think I'll like just in general because I'll be becoming more independent soon, so that stuff is gonna be like easier to do, which is good in some ways at least. Let's see.
Pretty much the same. Although I am next year with my marching band, we're going on a trip dedicated to going to Disney World, so we're going to be there for a week. But that might actually be more painful than fun though, because I'm not going to be able to get to go to like Universal or SeaWorld or Busch Gardens or any of those places. So I might be able to like see Velocicoaster but not ride it.
Oh god,
if like
that
we
would
pass
suck.
by there.
To be fair, the problem, I have kind of decided I would do a Disney World trip on a separate thing than like the rest of the Florida parks, because it's just like it would be very hard to do Disney World, Universal, and then like the rest of even the Orlando parks, and then you put in like Busch Gardens, Tampa. It's like, that's crazy. The amount of time it would take. and then also
If
the
I
money.
do get to go, I'll probably have to like get some special permission, like leave the group or something to go to Universal.
I mean, if you're gonna be there for a week anyways, like, I mean, if you're able to, might as well. I mean, that's still pretty cool. That they're doing that. I mean,
Yeah, they go there every other year.
dang, that's lucky. My high school band didn't have. I wasn't part of it, but I don't think they had anything like that. The most they did was like they would do a Disneyland trip for a day, but that had nothing to do with like performing or anything. They just did it, I believe. So
Because you're like pretty close to it.
yeah, it's within driving distance, so whatever.
My sister's so this year she had the senior night thing at Adventure Park USA, which is really close to my house, and like they have the park to themselves from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Like that whole period, and all the rides and stuff are open for them
Nice.
to ride.
I mean, that's cool. But yeah, 11 to 5 a.m. Wow. That is
You could be riding.
crazy.
You could be riding a Schwarzkopf Wildcat or a Little Phantom Clinic, like 4:32 in the morning.
Yeah, that is pretty insane. Anyone know why? Okay, I just saw a question. Actually, there's a few that have come up. Okay. Why do you think Hershey Park will? What do you think they will end up doing with the 3 Intamin coasters if they continue to have problems? I think Stormrunner and Fahrenheit, they'll. I don't think those are ones of concern, and I think Skyrush, that's overblown. Like that, they will. I don't really see them removing it that soon. Although it is a little telling that they didn't decide to get the new. Like, I don't know if it even is possible, but it is a little telling that they didn't even try to get new restraints before getting another hypercoaster. But I don't really think they're in that much danger, at least in the immediate future. I think that's overblown. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think anything's gonna happen.
Yeah, not
Just, like,
for a good
Do what
while.
they can with them.
And the thing is, with Skyrush, that coaster would be so hard to remove if they had to remove it, because they literally, like, it's so close to Comet and some other rides. It's like, how in the world would they even remove it?
The
So I
supports
just,
are also built into the water.
yeah, I mean, that would be insanely difficult to remove. So I think they'll just have to work things out, and it is what it is. But they'll be staying. I don't think there's much danger of them like being removed. I have no. Why is Michigan's Adventure? Why is there a coaster called Zach Zoomer? I have no idea. Maybe it's named after somebody. I have no clue why
Yeah, I think it
they
was.
named it.
I think it was named after like someone's son. I remember hearing something about that.
Huh? That would make. I would understand if it was like named after someone, but that would make sense. Let's see. Any other questions? Let's see. I'm not seeing anything else. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Any other questions? If you see something, let me know. Or if you want to say anything else.
Someone asked where you think that the Jersey Devil clone will put in your rankings at Magic Mountain.
Oh, let me find the question. I need the. Where is it?
It's at the bottom for me.
What? I don't. Oh, I got it. All right, I'm blind. Okay, so it's probably like I think a floor. Actually, it really depends on how it runs. Like I could legitimately see it as like even like the number 4. If it really isn't running that great behind Tatsu. But if it is running well, I think like 3 or 2, we'll probably somewhere around there. I don't know. I'll have to write it, but and we don't need, if it's extended, that might hurt it depending on what they decide to put in. It might hurt the pacing if it ends up actually being an extended clone. So it's hard to say. But it'll probably be no matter what top 5, unless like West Coast Racers blows me away, which I still haven't ridden, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think this is just a total prediction, but I think it'd probably be like number 3, probably.
Yeah, that's my guess, but there's a chance, there's like a chance it could be my 2, and there's a chance it could be my 4. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, it is an RMC, so 3 is my guess, but we'll see.
I think if I really didn't like the trains, it'd be number 2 based on layout. But I just hate those trains so much.
I'm okay with them. It's just if you ride them, even Railblazer, like if I wrote it, either I think it was 3 times. And even though I didn't write it back to back to back, I could feel the restraints definitely do dig into your shoulders a bit, which I mostly noticed like after riding. So
I like didn't have a problem with the shoulder straps or anything.
But you had the issue with the like straddling of like the single rail.
Yeah, I just didn't like the seating position. I think I just have to like maybe figure out the riding position because it was not it.
Yeah. I didn't have it, like, when I wrote it, as far as I can remember, I didn't have an issue with that, but we'll see. And, I don't know if I don't think the Raptor track's any wider on Jersey Devil than it is, like, the other, like, the prototypes. I don't know if I don't think it is. So, we'll see what happens. Let's see, any other questions? I don't really know how to answer any of the butterfly questions. I don't know. I don't really know, like, the Euro final. Is this like soccer, I assume? I'm not entirely sure what this is. So I don't follow it, so I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you, so
I'm gonna say Italy because it's not England.
Yeah, you know what? Yep, alright, go Italy. Hope they win. Oh, well, I just realized, yeah, we have some, UK viewers, so, but, yeah, go Italy. And then I saw, would we ride Cool and Fresh knockoff? Oh, God, no. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a Chinese knockoff that, it's a Cool and Fresh knockoff. It doesn't even have the brakes on the drop. And then it does this...
Wait. What's Cool?
Cool and Fresh is a SBF Visa coaster with a extremely steep drop. I forget where it operated, but it was this insane looking ride. And then there's a knockoff Chinese version of it that has a very tight vertical loop and just very weird banking on the turns. I don't think I'd ride it. No, I don't think so.
Oh, is that like the weird tower coaster from SBF?
If it has the super steep drop, yeah.
Yeah. There was one
it's
at Wonderland Asia that never really opened.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, that's Cool and Fresh. That's it. And then there's a knockoff of it that looks just terrifying. Yeah, Cool and Fresh was heavily trimmed. The knockoff was like not even trimmed at all, which is scary. But yeah. Yeah, but it's probably a horrible experience is the only problem. And then what's the other one? Would you ride a roller coaster with the first drop being so tall that the Empire State Building will fit under it? Assuming they were somehow able to make the forces safe from that coaster, which I don't even think is possible. Sure, in that situation, but if it would kill me, then definitely not. So
only if like they made the pull out like drawn out enough to where the G-force wouldn't murder you.
Yeah, I think there's like no way that would ever happen.
Maybe if it had like a angle of you're just going down at like 3 degrees.
That's, oh god, imagine how long that would have to be though. It would be like the longest coaster probably in the world just based off the drop, unless my math is horrible, which it might be. So, that would be insane. What do we think looks like the best UK coaster? Ooh, that one's actually very hard because there's like, that one actually is
I'm gonna say
difficult.
Smiler. Smiler because it has like the full package.
Yeah, I
And
think
I've heard there's some surprisingly good airtime. Plus, it has like 14-minute movement and stuff. It's cool.
like the candidates in the UK like that I can think of are like Nemesis, but apparently it's running horrible now, so probably not that one. So probably not Nemesis, and it's really short anyways. Smiler, I could see it, and then also Megaphobia. Yes, that we have Rampage here, but I could kind of see that maybe, and I guess there's Icon as well. But I guess out of those, Smiler probably.
Yeah, I think like Megaphobia and Stealth might be kind of close.
Oh, Stealth. Yeah, that one could actually be up there too. I could see that.
But Icon,
yeah.
I'm not gonna say Icon because to me Icon just looks like a bunch of weird turns, like unnatural turns and stuff.
It doesn't look as good as the other mock launch coasters, so I probably agree. Probably not. Yeah, now that you mention it, probably between Stealth, Megaphobia, and Smiler, probably the three I would think of. And Nemesis, if they ever get that rumored refurbishment, which I don't know if that's ever happening, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, Milliman mentioned Kumali looks really good too, and so does Odyssey, the two SLCs, the custom ones.
Yeah,
Those
the
look
tall
really good, I think.
SLC. And then what's the other one you mentioned?
Odyssey and Kumali.
Kumali's?
Yeah, Kumali is at Flamingo Land.
It's
a Shenlin model.
Okay. Is it also an SLC or what is that?
Yeah, it's an SLC. It has a completely different layout. It has like a vertical loop and Cobra roll and like a 0G roll.
Huh. And is it that's interesting. I didn't even know it was that modified. Okay.
I've heard it's smooth too.
Then yeah, that could be up there. That's probably a really underrated ride then. So that could be up there. Let's see, any other questions? I'm not seeing any other ones unless I'm blind. Tell me if there's another one. And if there's not, we'll wrap this thing up here. Oh, just saw it. Just saw one. If you could buy one roller coaster from any amusement park in the US and place it in your backyard, which one would you buy? My backyard's tiny, so I'd have to probably get some plot of land, but there's just a bunch of a bunch of farmland near my house. I mean, negotiations would be difficult, but whatever, I could figure it out.
If I want something that actually fit in my backyard, then Boardwalk Bullet. But
wait, Boardwalk Bullet could fit in your backyard?
Yeah.
Oh my
I have
god.
like 2 acres.
Oh, okay, yeah, well, I guess that works. My options are, like, limited to, like, a Intamin, like, surf rider. Maybe, probably not even. Yeah, actually, and, like, an SBF Visa spinner or something like that. And even those probably wouldn't even fit, but, like, those would be my options. So...
Anything though, probably Millennium Force because it's so reliable.
Yeah, I mean, if I could pick anything, yeah, I would want to pick something re-rideable. And then also, if it's in my backyard, I want to get something that I think I'd actually like want to like invite people over to ride, and Millennium Force would be a good one, so I could see that. Assuming people weren't too afraid of heights. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good one for me, for like that I would think of, like one that would actually be pretty fun. I mean, now that I think about it, Fahrenheit would be pretty cool. I like that. I think I'd actually go with Fahrenheit. It's pretty fun. I think I'd go with Fahrenheit. Um, Although the vertical lift might scare some people, but yeah, Fahrenheit would be pretty cool. So that's one I'd go with. Let's see. And I haven't ridden a B&M Hyper or Giga, so I can't even put any of those on there. But yeah. Alright, so I think that's it. I think that's all the questions. So I guess if you have any last things you want to say, Augie, you can say them now, and that'll pretty much wrap up the stream.
Yeah, basically this was just like really fun, and that's about all I have to say. Like,
Alrighty. Oh,
I don't know.
nah,
I'm
you're
trying to
alright.
think of things to say, and I just like don't really have anything.
Oh no, you're totally good. No, that's totally fine. But thank you so much for being able to come on to the stream. It was
Yeah,
really
thank
fun
you.
having you, and we did work, and it was great that we were able to work out the issues. The audio actually now does sound quite a bit better, so
That's great.
and it seems like the chat agrees. So very happy with that. And with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time here on Coaster Hour. See you guys.